The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
It is Saturday, March 14th, 2026, and I'm looking out over the Maine woods from the barn studio, the bunker, as my friend here likes to call it, and really? Think about it. Every single day we wake up and the world has shifted another 6 inches toward total chaos, but also maybe a little bit of common sense.
It's not a shift, Will. It's a tectonic collision. We're seeing the old world, the world of the interdimensional pot-bellied vampires, literally grinding against the reality of a populist awakening. I've got the white papers right here. My desk is covered in documents that would make a normal man's hair turn white.
Well, your hair is doing fine, Ray, but the rest of the world is... Listen, we have a solid show for you today, lots of moving parts. Yesterday we were talking about that high-speed money pit in California, that $126 billion disaster, and of course that victory for parents at the Supreme Court in Mirabelli v. Bonta. But today, honestly, the news is coming at us like it's being shot out of a cannon.
Because it is. They're in a panic. The globalists are realizing they can't control the narrative anymore. Listen to me.
We're going to get to it. We've got the D.C. airport shut down, the massive fight over the SAVE Act, and then later we're doing a deep dive into Operation Epic Fury. 15 days in and the Middle East is fundamentally changed. But first, Ray, you were looking at something in the media world that actually made me blink twice.
Oh, it's beautiful, Will. They don't want you to know this, but the propaganda machines are eating each other. According to reports from the Los Angeles Times and Mediaite, CNN is basically on the auction block. Netflix pulled out of the bidding for Warner Brothers Discovery, and now David Ellison, the guy who runs Paramount Skydance, is moving in to take over the whole 24-hour news network.
Okay.
And the newsroom at CNN, they are terrified. Listen to me. Mark Thompson, the CEO, is out there trying to act tough. He issued this rebuttal yesterday to Pete Hegseth because Hegseth has called CNN fundamentally unserious during a Pentagon briefing.
He did?
He absolutely did. Hegseth is at the podium in the middle of a war telling them their reporting is patently ridiculous. And Thompson is out here saying, we stand by our journalism, but it's over for them, Will. Ellison is reportedly friendly with the president. The globalists at CNN realize they're about to have a boss who might actually ask them to, tell the truth.
Really, think about it. If CNN actually starts reporting facts instead of manufactured outrage, what does that do to the ruling class? They lose their primary megaphone. It's like watching a vampire realize the sun is coming up.
It's over for humanity, or at least for their version of it. They've had a monopoly on the narrative for 50 years, and now they're being sold off like a used car at a salvage yard.
It's incredible. And speaking of narratives, look at what happened in D.C. yesterday. I saw this on the wires, and literally, what is going on here? Ronald Reagan National, Dulles, BWI, 4 major hubs in the capital region, completely grounded for hours.
The mystery smell.
Exactly. The FAA issued an emergency ground stop because employees at the Potomac Tracon facility, that's the hub in Virginia that manages all the air traffic, they reported a strong chemical smell that was physically incapacitating.
Incapacitating.
Right. Thousands of passengers stranded on the tarmacs, 300 flights canceled, and this morning, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it was, get this, one overheated circuit board.
Listen to me. Do you honestly believe that? One circuit board in a basement in Warrenton, Virginia can paralyze the entire D.C. airspace? The most powerful city on earth is grounded because of a piece of fried silicon?
Why are they doing this? Why is the infrastructure so fragile? According to reports from Market Screener and local D.C. outlets, 30 FAA staff members needed medical assessment. That's a hell of a circuit board, Ray.
It's a dry run, Will. They're testing the systemic fragility. They want to see how much it takes to lock down the Capitol. Or, And this is the real story. It was a cover-up for something moving through that airspace that they didn't want civilian radar to see. I have the documents on domestic surveillance anomalies, and it's all connected to this disclosure directive regarding UFOs.
You think it's the aliens?
I think it's the technology they don't want you to have. They keep us in the dark with chemical smells while they're moving the real hardware behind the curtain. It's a distraction, just like the DOJ subpoenas.
Oh, tell me about that. You were following the Federal Reserve fight, right?
Yes. Pam Bondi and the DOJ are going after Jerome Powell. They issued subpoenas over a $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed building. But yesterday, federal judge James Boasberg quashed them. Okay? He basically called the investigation a pretext, a political tool to pressure Powell into cutting interest rates before his term ends in May.
So the DOJ is trying to lean on the Fed to cook the books for the economy? I mean, really? That's what the court is saying. Jeanine Pirro is furious. She called Boasberg an activist judge. But think about the level of desperation here. They want to use the justice system to force the hand of the central bank because the Victory Garden economy is starting to bypass them. It's the ruling class eating itself, Ray. They're so desperate for a win that they're willing to compromise the last bit of independence the Fed has. And speaking of institutional rot, look at what Pete Hegseth is doing at the Pentagon. I saw this on the Federalist today.
The Tata Task Force.
Right. Hegseth officially announced he's bringing in Anthony Tata to probe DEI indoctrination and neo-Marxist ideology at our war colleges, West Point, the Naval War College, all of them.
Finally! Right? Think about this. According to a report from the Hudson Institute, we've seen a 35% drop in male enlistment since 2013. 35%. Why are they doing this? Well, maybe it's because when a young man signs up to defend his country, he doesn't want to be told that his very identity is a problem that needs to be managed by a diversity consultant. It's a cult, Will. It's a neo-Marxist cult that's been hollowed out our military from the inside. Hegseth is giving Tata 90 days to evaluate the curriculum, 90 days to clear out the wokesters and get back to war fighting and strategy, right? If you're at West Point, you should be learning how to win a battle, not how to navigate a microaggression. The globalists want our leaders weak. They want them more concerned with pronouns than projectiles, but Hegseth is taking a scalpel to it. And it's not just the military. The GSA is starting to mandate DEI decertification for federal funding. The pendulum is crashing back, Will.
It really is, and it has to, because before we get back to the analysis, let's deal with a hard reality. Real independence isn't free. This entire network, from this show to our flagship, The Neural Daily, exists because one man, Eric Christensen, decided to build it himself. He didn't ask for a government grant. He invested his own capital and technical expertise to architect a media platform that respects your intelligence. If you value that kind of meritocratic building, back it up. And don't limit yourself to just the politics. Get the full strategic picture by subscribing to the Neural Daily and the rest of the network. Support the builder, and you support the mission.
Build the world you want to live in, folks. Don't wait for the vampires to give you permission, because they're currently busy raising your gas prices.
Oh, let's talk about that. Gas is up 35 cents in 1 week.
$3.68 a gallon. That's the national average today. According to RigZone and the Department of Energy, the market is in a total frenzy because of the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
And crude oil is hitting $100 a barrel again. Energy Secretary Chris Wright says they're releasing 172 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But that's a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
I mean, really, think about it. Why are we even in this position? We have the oil here. And I saw that Doug Burgum over at the Interior Department is finally moving to cut the Washington red tape that's been strangling offshore drilling.
He's scrapping the 2024 rules. Those rules force companies to set aside billions for decommissioning costs before they even started pumping. It was a regulatory strangulation meant to kill the industry.
Exactly.
The ruling class wants you in an electric car. They want you on a grid they can switch off if you say the wrong thing. But Burgum is saying no. He's trying to restore domestic production while we're busy blowing up the globalist supply lines in the Middle East.
It's a race against time, though, because people are feeling it at the pump today. And that feeds into the election integrity fight. Ray, have you been following the SAVE Act?
Trump's ultimatum. I love it.
It's intense. Over the last 48 hours, the president has basically said he won't sign any funding bills, nothing, until the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act is on his desk.
He's holding the line. Senate Leader John Thune is under massive pressure. Even John Cornyn is out there saying they should change the Senate rules to a talking filibuster to get this passed.
Okay.
Because they know the 2026 midterms are the target. The Democrats are fighting this because they want the non-citizen vote. According to the Post and Time, people are increasingly worried about voter fraud, but the ruling class calls it suppression if you ask for an ID.
Really, why is only citizens should vote a controversial statement? It's the baseline for a functioning country, but we've got a DHS shutdown that's been going on for a month because Republicans are using it as leverage to get these verification requirements in.
It's a war of attrition. And speaking of DHS, they're currently being embarrassed by their own loopholes. Listen to me.
You're talking about the visa fraud ring?
Yes, Massachusetts, 11 Indian nationals charged with staging armed robberies. They literally hired people to rob them at convenience stores so they could apply for U visas as crime victims.
Shut up. Really?
I'm not kidding. They manufactured the crimes to get the legal status. According to the reports, they were exploiting the system because they know the humanitarian wing of the government is a giant sucker. They want a nation of victims, Will.
Think about it. We've got people dying in 100-degree heat in South Texas because of cartel smugglers, like this Alejandro Hernandez Alcudia, who just got 70 months for abandoning a migrant, but the focus in D.C. is often on making sure we have enough loopholes for people to jump through.
They want the chaos, Will. They want the system overloaded. It's over for the rule of law if we don't stop the staged drama. But we have to talk about the main event. We have to talk about Epic Fury.
15 days? It's been 2 weeks since Operation Epic Fury launched, and the Middle East is literally being terraformed. Really, think about it. Yesterday, U.S. forces targeted Karg Island.
The crown jewel.
Exactly. Karg Island handles 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. 90! U.S. strikes hit the Joshan Naval Base, the airport, the helicopter hangars, and Pete Hegseth is reporting that Iranian missile volume is down 90%.
90%? They're toothless, Will.
And the supreme leader, Khamenei, hasn't been seen since the opening hours on February 28th. The reports are saying he's severely disfigured or dead. The IRGC is in a state of command and control collapse.
Listen to me. They've hit over 15,000 targets across Iran. CENTCOM confirms 17 Iranian warships and a submarine are at the bottom of the ocean. The Strait of Hormuz is being cleared of the pirate regime.
And the president is calling it the Donroe Doctrine, moving past Monroe. It's about restoring order in the entire hemisphere. He's already signaling that Cuba might be next after the fall of Iran. Why are they doing this now? Why, after 20 years of forever wars, is this one actually moving this fast?
Because for the first time, we're not fighting for nation building. We're fighting for decapitation. We're not trying to build democracy in the desert. We're trying to destroy the ability of the mullahs to threaten the American heartland. Hegseth isn't a bureaucrat. He's a warrior, and he's using a sledgehammer.
It's incredible. Look at the coordination with Israel's Operation Roaring Lion. They're working together to dismantle the military-industrial base of the regime while sparing oil infrastructure for reasons of decency. That's the part that gets me.
Decency. It's a message to the Iranian people. It's saying your leaders are the target, not your future. We're taking out the weapons. We're taking out the pot-bellied vampires of Tehran, and we're leaving the resources so they can rebuild a real country.
Right?
But the globalists are crying, Will. They're crying about escalation because they needed Iran to be a constant threat. They needed the axis of evil to justify their endless summits and their billion-dollar peace deals that never brought peace.
It's the frame, Ray. They want you to think this is a disaster because it's a change to the status quo. But if the status quo was a state sponsor of terror having a knife at the world's throat, then maybe the status quo needed to be shattered.
Shattered and ground into dust. We're seeing a global realignment. Trump is saying America first doesn't mean America alone. It means America in charge of its own destiny. If you interfere with the strait, you lose your oil export capability. Simple, common sense.
It's devastatingly simple, and that's what scares them. They hate you because you can see through the complexity they've spent decades building. We're watching the collapse of the mullahs, the cleanup of our own war colleges, and the fight for the integrity of our ballots. It's a Saturday in March 2026, and the world is finally waking up from a long, expensive fever dream.
Get your bone broth ready, folks. The victory garden economy is coming, and the globalists can't stop it. And we're winning.
We're winning. But stay sharp, because as we saw in D.C. yesterday, it only takes one circuit board to ground the whole system. Don't be dependent. Be ready. Think about it. Why are they doing this? Because they're afraid of you. Stay frosty. We'll be back on Monday.
Victory! It's over for the vampires.
Good night, Ray.
Good night, Will. Get the supplements.